3 points, right? So it's going to be quite interesting to see who's going to start to fall on down those tables. Obviously, Brute Force getting surpassed now, down in 17th place. We're starting to see teams drop below that margin. I think also Besiktas have dropped out of the top 12 from their group, from Group Red. Those are the teams that we're going to start to see tumbling down the tables over the course of these next 2 matches. And it's going to be pretty brutal. But you know what you need when it's getting brutal?
What's that?
The best equipment. With dual gaming chipsets and 144 Hz AMOLED screens, the GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performances and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC.
Stunning. Stunning it is. And man, we're going to see some teams stunt on the rest of these guys here as we get into the last 2 matches of the day and of the group stage right here. $1 million going to be split amongst these squads at the end of these 2 matches here. So let's just see who's going to get that big money. Honestly, at this point, trying to catch Alliance, I think is going to be just a little bit too hard for this lobby. They did so well their first 2 days, but you know what? You could definitely see some squads surpassing some of the others. You got like Alpha 7, who could possibly try to hunt down Xavier, maybe even 4MV. If they do really well in these next 2 matches, they do have El Pulso. They did get a plane drop, at least towards their area, so they're going to be looted up to the teeth, but they're going to have to get moving here very quickly, as it looks like we have a nice little southern zone here.
Down to the southeast side, just sort of centering over towards Los Leones. So we're going to have an urban finish. I feel like that would be so cruel for a lot of these teams, right? Generally, when you go to those urban environments, it just gets so chaotic, and predicting it, even in like stage 7, becomes pretty close to impossible, right? Unless there's like just some wild, completely dominant position, but very unlikely to happen. I'd be interested to see how that would unfold, but I don't really want to see it, because I feel like I really want these teams to have a fair shout in towards the last of their matches. Right, this match, next match, the only 2 times they're going to have to put on the board to jump up towards those 12th places.
Oh, yes, they do. And I'll tell you what, Power Esports now have jumped right there to that 12th place position. So they've just reached that cutoff, but they got a lot of teams that are going to be hunting them down. You got Team Falcons, 1 point separation. Inco Gaming, 2 point separation. And then TJB is only a few more points down from that. So the job is not done yet. But Power, with that last game, they have definitely put themselves in the running.
Yeah, absolutely. Alpha 7 right now, the only team that's jumped over where I sort of think that bubble's going to be. And even then, they are not out of the woods, right? The fact that we've only got 2 more matches to play and all of these teams are still chasing that position makes me think that the bubble might be just that little bit lower, right? Because you're not going to see all of these teams have a super strong performance. If you can see the bulk of them getting towards 6 points in this match, that's when it's going to start to jump up towards that low 70s mark. And it's going to be really interesting to see where it all falls, right? Because as all of these teams start to get the same amount of points as each other, that bubble drops just that little bit, and it is still so dangerous. But let's loop back to something you said in the previous match, right? CAG Osaka, Harame Bro, IWNRX, DRX, very unlikely
it's
they
over.
Make it. It's over for their group stages. They will get through to the survival stage.
That's correct.
If they don't make it up into 12th place, which for all intents and purposes, they already haven't. We are going to have to see what they can pull out the bag in those next stages, right? We're going to be starting to cut teams down for Boom, for Mad Bulls, for Moneymakers as well. This is, again, that same situation that you were talking about last time, where this match could cut them out of the running.
Yeah, definitely could. And you know what? For those 4 bottom teams, you know, you never know what they're going to do right here now. And sometimes when they're at this stage, a lot of squads start going crazy because there's no more nerves, right? They know that, hey, there's no chance we have of making it. They finally start playing their game and start disrupting all the teams above them. So, you know, it's always good to keep an eye on those squads for sure. But I do agree, you know, Boom Esports, Mad Bulls, even Moneymakers, it's do or die this game for them if they want to make it into that top 12. So let's do a little theory crafting since we have some time here and teams are playing so carefully at this point. Boom Esports, 46 points. Right now, Power Esports is at that cutoff line with 61. What do you feel Boom Esports needs to do right here and now, or what do you feel needs to happen if they want to have a chance of making it into the finals?
I mean, you just need at least double digits on the match, right? And I think that bubble in general, I'm still thinking it's going to be low 70s. So for Boom, they have a real big task ahead of them. I'm looking at them needing potentially 15 points a match to be secure into this one. That would give them 30 more points, put them on 76, right? That's around where Sertani said he wanted Vampire to end, and they're on 62 points already. So that sort of puts into perspective just how much of a chase Boom have, how much Mad Bulls have, and Moneymakers as well. They are really on their last chance, and they need 2 consecutive absolute bangers or 1 giga banger.
That's right, yeah, a giga banger, and we haven't seen it happen so far from them, so it's going to be absolutely crazy to watch. And you can see Power Esports, they had a banger of a match in the last one, right when they needed it, so they're going to have a little bit more room to breathe, but job's definitely not done yet. They just need 2 consistent games, put something on the board. Just can't go out early if you're Power. Meanwhile, you have Vampire, they're right there as well. Maybe none of these teams can afford to put up a 0-point game. But, you know, Alpha 7, they have 73 points. They should feel pretty comfortable here. You can see, for those of you guys that can possibly see that map, they're just rotating all the way through the edge down south, nice and safe. So they're going to definitely be in the mix here soon.
I don't think it's worth it for Alpha 7 to try and burst out towards those top spots when it's still so volatile for them to actually be confirmed towards that final stage.
They just got to play the game.
They've just got to play the game. If you can get sort of 3, 4, 5 points on both of these next 2 matches, that is going to see you safe in towards those finals. But then again, that's my opinion, right? I am not Alpha 7, and these guys have the passion for this game that is almost unparalleled.
Yeah, if I were Alpha 7 right now, I would put it in my mind that we're in 20th place. You know, because in my opinion, Alpha 7, their biggest struggle is themselves. You know, I talked to Kodajax, their manager, and he said exactly that. You know, we are our own worst enemies, and I would try to emulate that in my brain right now. Like, oh, you know what? This is do or die moment. We have to go crazy, otherwise we're not going to make it to the finals. So that way they can try to work through those nerves, because that's their only problem here. So I want to see some signs of life for Alpha 7 in these last 2 matches to give me a little bit more confidence for them come finals time.
That's what we're looking for. I mean, a lot of people will have predicted Alpha 7 to be winners of this tournament. I know you got 7 over on the desk as one of their biggest fans coming from the Americas region. And to be honest, I put Vampires as my prediction to win. That was primarily because they're back-to-back defending champions here in Riyadh. But I think if I'm being honest, I think Alpha 7 did have, coming into this tournament, the best chance of winning it. Given Alliance and Tiamba's performance, though, it's kind of putting question marks as to what's going on in this lobby, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to develop moving forwards. Very likely that we see Alpha 7 making their way in to take them on in those final stages. And we, again, on the flip side, we talked about teams that it's very unlikely they're going to make it. Teams are starting to get like really quite solidly confirmed to be getting through to those finals. Obviously, Alliance, Tiamba, but also 4MV and DXavier. Right? Those 4 teams looking pretty healthy, but what a shift on the circle. Hard Southeast cuts Los Leones in on the northwest side and keeps Puerto Paraíso in.
Oh my goodness, this is a perfect zone shift for a team like Alpha 7, and we're starting to see some shots ringing out just due to this crazy one. Moneymakers currently sitting at 18th place. They're one of the teams that desperately need points here. They got to be able to hold it against TJP. Both these teams need it bad, and both of them go down. And actually, that is Moneymakers out of there.
When I said this was potentially the last chance and they're going to get cut, now it is up to the Gigabanger final map, isn't it? And you do not want to be there. They still have the chance, though. We'll see if we'll be able to tune back in with them next time around. Talon close to the remnants of TJP, and so that could be the end of their match as well. Meanwhile, down in the rest of the thick of it is Power starting to flip those switches again. DRX falling prey to it.
I could already hear the crowd starting to go nuts as soon as they saw that knock from their hometown heroes. And this is DRX. DRX know that they're down and out. They have 0 chance of making it into the finals. So if you're going to push a team, that's one that you should really want to go ahead and press the issue on.
TJB still being suppressed out in the blue up the north side, northwest of Hacienda. A nice answer, though, from Longs with a long shot over to Linus. Able to hit that headshot as well. And that's going to be a difficult res to fully commit to. And looks like they are going to go for it. They're going to have to pick up, and I don't think they want to stay here now. But in comes the rollover. TJB pushing up to this. They might be able to pick up 2 points now. Yoru and Linux both do get up, but there is just a hail of bullets rolling down the hill. And now it's up to Axel to try and put the pieces back together. They've got Misery still in the fray, but you can see he's quite far away. Getting closer and closer, though. Can he have an impact?
Flower's going to see those nades coming from a mile away, so he's going to have to land it perfectly.
Nice.
You guess you didn't see that one coming. Axel with a beautiful nade. Got to have to make another play here for his team. Talon currently sitting in 6th place. TJB are the ones that desperately need those points, and they are out of there.
Talon able to snaffle it away. 74 points now, and today's leaders on the tournament tables. That is great news for the team of Talon, and it is a great result. Another team pushing up and over, looking better to get towards those finals. The team from Indonesia.
Heads up play from Talon right there. They wanted to make sure they secured their slot to the finals. And honestly, with that squad wipe, I think it's going to do it. Power Esports, though, their ticket isn't punched just yet. They need to win this fight with DRX. They unfortunately lost a player in this fight. That is definitely going to hurt them here as the blue zone is now starting to pass them up.
Ooh, Los Leones, difficult to navigate when you've got that close-range threat, and it's exactly the difficulty that's facing DRX and Power. But only 2 players remain now for DRX. 4 nades in hand, may be able to do something. Pops some mollies, forces players off that close window on the top floor, but not really going to have an impact. And again, puts it into the middle, plays it back. They're trying to create space here, allow his teammate to get through, so that they can play a 1-2 punch, maybe even breach the building. Power yet to engage from this. They have 3 players alive.
They're going to have to disengage here eventually, or just start pushing it. I'm surprised they're being so passive here. And this just could be the fact that, you know, they're in that cusp. They're right there on the leaderboards in that 12th place position. I think we're starting to see the nerves start to ring out for this team.
It's pretty tricky to look to get out of this one if you aren't fully aware of the enemy team's locations, but the nades are starting to come through, and Power could really start to suffer here. It's only going to get worse and worse. Once the zone hits, it's going to tick harder and harder, and Power want to get out of there. They need to get out of there. Their campaign is not over. 2 chicken dinners not enough to secure the deal.
It definitely is, and Power have to make a decision here. They have to push. They cannot just wait because, like you mentioned, that blue zone has started to tick, and it's started to tick hard right now, especially once it fully closes and we hit stage 4. Let's see how they decide to play it. I am so shocked right now. They're seeing Power just completely turtle up. They got to move.
They've got to get out of there, but instead, over they go. Pops the shot, and that's going to give the game away. They're in the building, steps out, and that's the first knock going over.
Huge.
Easy able to pick it up, and that is indeed huge. Power might just be able to win this fight off the back of it. They should know that the players upstairs, and DRX sat at the bottom of the table, sat on the top floor above Power. They've got 3 players to deal with. Just gonna be too much, I fear.
You can't be pushing a building by yourself right now. I'm so shocked that they're even doing that. It's so risky. If you get knocked, you're getting firsted 100%. So the entire Power squad need to just full send it onto this last player. Get every single person, run in and take them out. You got to get moving here because this zone is starting to really chuck away at you, and there's hardly any spots available.
I know where he is exactly, but they are just not fully committing to it. The time is starting to burn. The candle almost down. No wick left, and that's what they need. Easy, able to seal it with the DBS. Now, can they move away? Who's this? There's someone else moving through Los Leones. It's Talon. They were dealing with TJB up in the north, and finally, they've made their way towards the circle. They divert away from that fight. They just want to get in.
So late to the party, and I think that is exactly right. Talon just wanted to get in to the finals, and that finish right there will work for them. So now they are late to the party. They're going to pass up Power Esports. And, actually getting mighty close.
Oh, dear.
Some shots are starting to ring out, and I think that is one of the players from Talon getting knocked off the back of that buggy.
That's, Axel on board, going to lose his passenger, and Power will be able to heal everyone up. Do they have the meds to sustain a push in? But that northwest side is looking a little bit hairy right now. Talon get ahead of it, but you can see they're getting shot at by Mythic, by Team Liquid as well, from their longhouse high ground, and a knock over towards Misery. Now there's an opening potentially for Power to move through, and they're going to go on the north side of Team Liquid. As the attention is drawn south, they shimmy on in and potentially get a good spot against Team Liquid because they're going to have to move further through. Neither team can stay where they are on the next circle.
Super fortunate rotation for Power, not to mention 5 eliminations. This is exactly what they needed to do to secure that top 12 position. Team Liquid right there in 10th. You know, they're looking to put some points on the board as well. And meanwhile, you got a lot of squads still available here that need a big game. I'm looking at Mad Bulls, Boom Esports, even Inco Gaming. Falcons need to start popping off here as well.
It is all about those inches to add to your tally, right? It is all about getting those single eliminations.
That's right.
Crawling your way through this quagmire that is the group stage.
Oh, every inch counts, John.
Absolutely.
Every inch counts, and every point counts right here, and it's going to be so close here. There's only one match remaining. Mafioso busting out the mini, looking to try and pass up some of these teams on the leaderboards. Team Falcons starting to move as well. Top just trying to get a little bit of information. You can see him on that buggy circling around. These players got to stay calm here. I know there's a lot of pressure. Your tournament life is on the line, but you want to make sure that you make it to that next stage, and you're going to do it by just working together as a squad and pushing one team at a time. But silly rotations like that, you're going to get punished.
Harame Bro have them dead to rights, but the sprays just aren't connecting. The vehicle's eating most of that damage, which is pretty damaging towards the Falcons' rotations, right? And now Nerzit goes down. Top might just be the last holdout for them. And the Falcons on one player. They're right on the northern side. Not even like they managed to get dead central. But he's not going to give up without a fight now. Top has the nade. Looking to cook it up towards Jappy. It's over behind the vehicle. He's got cover. The smoke is there to stop Top from getting sprayed down from the high ground, but that's only going to last so long. Spray's coming in. I think that's from Boom across the way. It's a third party. Jappy going for the trade, but Top able to do it. Pushes forwards. It's going to be able to fall back. The teammates there. And with the front bumper, they bust his lip, and it's Falcons to fall.
He was able to get at least 1 point, but now you got Boom Esports on the other side starting to pressure Harame Bro here. Shots are ringing out from all over the place. Man, a little bit of a lazy rotation there from Falcons, and they got punished for it. It's going to come down to the last match for them. They're going to have to pull out a miracle game if they want to make to the finals. Meanwhile, Harame Bro in 21st place with only 30 points. They need a monster game, and 2 eliminations so far, 1 player down. It's not looking good.
Not a happy couple of bunnies, those lot. Unfortunately, Team Liquid looking to continue their chase. Keep up the pace, 67 points right now. And they're in a pretty solid spot. Again, very few teams actually confirmed to be in on this one.
Axel getting knocked there. Alula IHC. Demo. It's going to go ahead and start off with a nice elimination. Oh, but here comes Boom Esports starting to put that pressure onto Harame Bro. I believe it's only 1 up left for them. A great push by Boom to get some very necessary points, and that's going to be 6 to their total.
Excellent start to their second to last game right now. Their Miramar campaign going well. That put them up at 52 points. They still have more to do.
A lot more.
Looking at the circle, it's a hard northwest shift. Vampire right now in a really strong spot. The compound on that southwest corner of the flats that sits on their north side is going to be a lifeline. Tony K up on the higher ground that sits to the northwest of it. They need to control Inco, but once they do, it is great news for them. Very few positions stronger than that.
Power Esports, you can see they're currently sitting in 10th place with those 5 eliminations. Looking really good here, but they still need to do a little bit more. Vampire Esports need to start putting that pressure because they're right there on that cutoff. They're sitting in 12th right now. No eliminations. You can see them playing this very calculated.
Absolutely. So Tani said 75 points their goal, right? If they're going to split that between the 2 games and they need 8 points to be able to get... Is that right? No, they need more than that.
You know what? I
think
they'll take 8
and 5. They need 13 points, right? So you split it, 7 and 6 which is this going to be? You want to get as many of them in this match right now. When you have a central position, when you have a stronghold, controlling Inco was always the thing that was going to ruin them. But if they could do it, they have a beautiful position on this northwest side. They can control from that high ground. Everything looks pretty downhill from where they sit.
Meanwhile, Team Liquid are now starting to feel that pressure. Mythic is knocked. IHC on the gun. Oh, but Chief with a nice little stiff arm there on the Godless. He's going to get that confirmation. He's going to have to start hitting the deck, though. Actually, I might be looking for a vehicle and get on the move here.
Alolex IHC from the south edge right now. 73 points. Another team looking to try and jump up towards that 80-point barrier that sees you fairly safe into those finals already. They have a lot more to do, and defending their global dominance from PMGC is what they are thinking about right now. But it's all about squeaking their way through the door.
That's right. I think with those 4 eliminations, I think that could have just done it for them, especially considering how these other teams are playing. Team Falcons out. It's going to leave it down to the last match for them. Vampire are still up with all 4 in a really solid position for this next zone. We're going to have to really see where this circle goes, and a lot of these teams could really use a blessing right now.
This 2-2 split for Vampire looks strong, but Alpha 7 are going to challenge the south side. Nuzi, Schwepp, both going to try and hold it, and Inco are going to suffer because of it. Revo now with the challenge. Has got that pump action. Steps out, finds one. Nuzi goes down, flushed quickly. There's an answer though. Oh. There's the knock in response. That came through from Stone in the vehicle, but Schweppes is now down as well. And there's only 2 players for Vampire. They're getting dismounted. Alpha 7 Summit, there was no backup. McGrellan on in, and the south side hold for Vampire crumbles.
Stone getting caught with a nade in his hand. McGrellan's trying to go for the res here, but his teammate's moving just a little bit too much. But here comes Tony K, the last player up for Vampire Esports. They need this fight to win. Alpha 7 pretty much confirmed here to make it to the finals. Vampire, not so much. And they are allowing this reset. That nade
huge
helps give them just a couple more precious seconds to last in this match.
Unlikely Stone gets out of this, though. Alpha 7 going to res. Going to get McGrellan back to his feet. Tony K has bigger fish to fry, as well as Inco step around. 2 players to handle. If anyone can, it's Tony K. Nade over towards Schweppes to get the flush. Inco steal that point away, but they still have Tony K to deal with. Alpha 7 potential to third party, but power in the meantime. Dead center on the junction. A nice ridgeline to play around.
Tony K so desperate right now, just trying to make it happen for his squad. He jumps out with the free fire, jumping back in, using his best parkour tactics here. He's pulling out every strategy he has. He has to win this 1v2. He hears the footsteps. Nenebete is in the building. He tries to pre-fire it. He's trying to time this perfectly. But now Alpha 7's going to be pressing up in here anyway. Tony K's got to make something happen here.
Steps in, Nenebete across the way. Tony K out of the building, trying to find them on the back foot there. Spraying, pre-firing. Alpha 7 now descend. Moving on in for the third party on this one. I think they've only sent the 1 player up to the north side, but he's just going to put ordnance in. Nenebete going to be forced away to the sidelines. There's the backup from Molotov. They are starting to stretch out on this line on the west. Dangerous to expose themselves to the south side, but there's a lot going on the east that we'll have to tune in with later. This fight continues. The pressure is cooking.
Tony K's got to, his heart's got to be beating a mile a minute at this point, because he's fully boosted now. He's going to have a little bit of that run speed advantage from that full boost, and he needs it for sure. He is just biding his time. He's very happy to just stay in that building as long as he possibly can here, and hopefully maybe sneak even a single placement point. But right now, there's still 10 teams remaining. You go out, it is an absolute donut.
Alpha 7 fighting on 2 fronts, keeping Alolex IHC at bay. Let's see a Osaka go down to Boom on the north side. In the meantime, Vitali goes down and the burn is there.
Baby, burn.
The burn out. Tony K survives. So Vampire go 1 step further towards those placement points to add to their tally. They'll take what they can get at this stage. What more can they do? The answer is nothing, because there is just more nades in the pocket for Alpha 7. They really want to seal the deal for themselves. Maybe they want to try and chase it as well, because from this western side of the circle, they have the potential to move through this match.
Tony K trying the Jurassic Park strategies. If I don't move, they can't see me, but unfortunately, Alpha 7 have evolved to another level right here.
Clever girls.
Revo just had that 5th sense, able to get that knock. And that is going to push those guys over the edge. Alpha 7 crushing it. But Power Esports, the local hometown heroes need to get it done here. They have a good, solid position in the center of this map, but everybody's going to be staring right at them.
Alolex, IHC sending Demo forwards in a pretty wild push, but sometimes you just need to go for it, and only putting one player in, it's the risk you take. Now they've got a central position because Demo made that dash. Alpha 7 weren't quite able to stop it. Mad Bulls on the east side against IWNRX, both going to be vying for that eastern edge. This is a really tricky spot for the Boom. Control the north side of the road. They have such great terrain right there. They're going to be forced off of it in a moment, but Mad Bulls find an opening onto their flank, so potential to sweep through, but IWNRX still in the way. Look at that ridgeline that Boom have. What can you do if you're IWNRX when they're there?
You go to the survival stage. That's what you do. And that's what's going to happen, right? But I'll tell you what right now, this next zone goes dead center. A beautiful circle shift for Power Esports. That's the team I got my eyes on, as well as Mad Bulls. Even Boom. Boom Esports have 10 eliminations?
Where did that come from? The north side, I'm telling you, man, that high ground position across the road acts like a river. There is nothing that you can do when Boom are moving forwards. This is the chase that they were looking for. We've been talking about teams that need strong games, and this is how you do it for Boom. 10 eliminations puts them on 56 right now, and they need more, but they are going about it the right way. A strong hold on the north side might be what they need.
They needed this so bad. 10 elimination points. Oh, that nade looks good. Oh, baby. How about one more? That was an eviction notice, and that is how you do it. IWNRX getting punished.
The red label on the door slapped up, and Boom put another one in the dirt. Swain falls down, and it's only the team's MVP himself, Zedwolf, who can stand between Boom and holding this northern side of the road to themselves. Another nade goes high. Yummy wants to put the final nail in. Another one just goes short, just not quite tickling on, and Zedwolf might get the res, but they are still trapped. That one looks quite good, and again, it bobbles down short.
So close. I mean, he's definitely doing some damage. Yummy, they need every single elimination they can get. And here they go. They are full sending it onto this edge. They are trying to take him down.
Let's go.
But maybe a little bit too close here. Z-Wolf still up, but that is it. 14 eliminations for Boom Esports.
They are starting to turn up the heat now, but they need the reses. Only 2 players active. Can anyone capitalize? Power still going with 3 in their ditch, and Alpha 7 starting to march forwards. 2-2 right now. A split attack, an approach to the eastern side, and Cardozen's been left alone.
What is going to happen? Power Esports able to get the full reset here. They have 3 players still alive. Alpha 7, the only team in the lobby with 4. Actually, Boom might even get this res. Meanwhile, Mad Bulls does get a knock onto Mafioso. This is stage number 8, folks. This zone's about to go to nothing. Only one more game after this. These teams need to clutch it up.
It is getting do or die by the second. It's closer to the wire. Alpha 7, they immediately move Revo up, but I do wonder if they know that Cardozen's there for Team Liquid. He's been sort of in the middle of this split, and Alpha 7 might fall prey to it if they don't clear out the angle. I don't think they know. There's no way that they can, because Mafioso would have just handled this. This means that Cardozen could be a massive spoiler.
Cardozen being so sneaky right now. When is he going to strike? You can see Mafioso applying that pressure to Mad Bulls. Mad Bulls should be looking to get into the action here since they desperately need these points, and it looks like they are going to make that challenge onto Alpha 7, but Alpha 7 doing a great job of just pushing them back.
Shots from Mafioso, keeping Boom at bay, getting across this road, their major challenge, but that south duo is going to give them a little bit of a foothold. They need to get across and challenge Power on this northwest point. Cardozen still chilling right now for Team Liquid. He's got ice in the veins, this man.
He knows what he needs to do. He needs a little bit more points to make sure they make it into the finals. So he's playing so quiet right now and giving Alpha 7 so much false confidence. Nice knock there. 2 knocks from Alpha 7 onto Mad Bulls. And I think that is going to be it for them. Only 1 player up left. Mad Bulls just weren't able to get it done. No,
the crossfire between Alpha 7 and Boom was just too much to bear. He is still there, and they still don't know. He's in the circle with a little bit of cover. A knock over towards Power is huge for Alpha 7. And they are starting to rack up these points as well. It is not just Boom who's come to play this one. Still, they're on 14 eliminations. Yummy with 7. half of the team's tally.
Oh,
There it is.
Cardoso finally pops up, gets the knock and flush onto Revo. Here comes the drive on in. Is he able to get that second knock? He doesn't. And Carrillo finally takes him down. That's a dozen eliminations right there. A huge game for Alpha 7.
Up to 69 points, and add those three
Power.
at 72. Power now with a chance. 3 players alive. Getting a knock over towards Carrillo means 2 players for Alpha 7. Boom, looking to insert themselves into this one. A big game necessary. Rezi over and into safety as well. Behind that buggy, has to fall back. Pondbit spotted by
huge.
Vidan. Finds the spray, finds the flush. A nade over the top might just be enough to find 2. A double knock comes through from Rezi, and that is huge news for Boom. More on the tally. 18 eliminations. They're looking to break records.
18 eliminations so far. There's 2 more to go. Can we see a 20 elimination game? That is a 30-point swing if they get it done. And Alpha 7 are on the back foot. It's looking too good for Boom Esports. Here comes the pressure. The nades, the Molotovs, the zone is starting to close. Alpha 7 know they're hurt. They have to hit an incredible shot if they want to make this happen.
Mafioso down. Now it's McGrellin. The only thing that's going to stand between them and Boom rolling over the circle. It is bombastic. It is loud. The north side of the road rolls on down, and Boom's hopes stay alive.
Boom goes the dynamite, baby. 20 eliminations and the chicken dinner? Are you kidding me? These guys are gonna fly up the leaderboards.
That is an absolutely incredible result. What a beautiful way to start your campaign into the